Hello and welcome to Walk the Talk Show with Waylon Lewis, coming to you live from Boulder, Colorado. I'm honored to be here today with Andi Lucas, was it?
That's correct.
Nice one, all this excitement, we've been making some jokes that we will not repeat, and I nearly forgot your last name. So we're here to talk about your company's wonderful invention. I know you have a whole line of products.
We do.
But do you want to show the viewers? Or
yep.
I can.
Look, I mean, in a nutshell, basically, this is one of the main. Well, this is the top seller in our line. Basically, it's just a little, really simple.
Hold it up a little bit.
Can you see that?
Hold it forward. Vanna White. So basically,
that's
it's
beautiful. What you just did, though. Can we incorporate that?
It's like a clampable.
It's a little clamping mount. It's really simple technology. Works great. A really good fast release mount for people who are filming themselves and wanting to change the angle of their camera. Without worrying about screwing something down that needs both hands to adjust it. This is just like a single hand use device, really popular with cyclists, climbers, anyone who's doing fast moving, fast shooting sort of environments, basically.
Right, I use it to film my meditation.
That also works. There's no need for fast movement, but
right.
If you want to.
Well, it's the action, you know, I mean, I film my thoughts as well, so it's actually pretty intense.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah, so we're being in Boulder, Colorado. We're here to talk about a pretty heavy subject, really, which is that Dinkum is this great young company, entrepreneurial, sort of like Republican's dream in the sense of like you started this great company.
I've never ever been described as a Republican's dream until just now.
Well, I love, growing up in Tassie, it probably means something different there. That would be Tasmania. But no, I mean, I think of like the American dream as, you know, you create a company, you kind of pull yourself up by your bootstraps, you create jobs, and then GoPro, which is what we'll get into, has come along with basically the same or similar kind of deal.
It's very similar to this.
Right. So GoPro is this huge company, and we'll get into all that. But being in Boulder, we're going to start this intense conversation with a kind of martial arts, like Bruce Lee moment of having a moment of meditation. You said you'd never meditated before in your life?
I have not, so you'll have to talk me through it, Waylon.
So she's joining the cult for the first time.
Quite excited.
Right, so I'm going to need your credit card.
I figured as much.
Yeah. All right, so to meditate, which is not actually a weird hippie thing, it's really just about being in the present moment, which GoPro and adventure-type people know all about.
Yeah, I'm sure this is actually going to be really good for me, so I'm going to stop being facetious for 30 seconds.
No, you can be facetious and meditate. It's actually...
Really?
Yeah, you can have a great sense of humor, which you do, and a great accent, and meditate all at the same time. Okay. So the first thing you do is you basically take a good posture, kind of the human posture you're born with. You can connect your bottom to the earth, the solidity of the earth. In the business world, the earth is considered the realm of like details, emails, all that practical stuff, so it has practical application. And then your head to the heavens above. So good posture, but relaxed. The heavens is considered the sort of the point, the vision, your mission in life for a business, what it's trying to accomplish. Then you just find your breath.
Should I close my eyes?
Your eyes can be open or closed. In this particular practice, they're open. Okay. You can close them if you want, whatever's more relaxing. But the point isn't just to relax, it's to awake
closed
fully.
Is better, because otherwise I'm just looking at the Superman cape.
You can just stare at me if you like.
I think closed is better.
Yeah, nice. That was good. Damn it. All right. In my case, they'll be open. Hello. So just find your natural breath in and out. And a lot of athletes actually are practicing this mindfulness meditation stuff more and more. The reason being that when you find any thought naturally occurring in your mind, you just acknowledge that and return your attention to your breath. Just follow your breath in and out. And that's it. Thank you. Normally we would meditate for another 3 hours on camera.
Right.
It's riveting.
Fascinating.
Hundreds of thousands of views.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So the reason why so many athletes and business people are using this is it helps you actually, you know, the breath is just sort of like a crutch or a stand-in for the present moment, so it helps you actually focus and not get distracted.
No,
if
I think it's a
skiing
great
down
idea.
a mountain, you need to be
I think maybe when I say I've never meditated before, I guess I've never consciously done that.
Right.
But I walk every morning without any electronics or anything like that. Like when I wake up, I make sure I don't use my phone. I don't log on my computer until after I've had a cup of tea and gone for a walk. So I guess it's the same idea, isn't it?
That's better than 90% of elephant readers, including myself. I mean, the mindful life is about kind of just giving yourself the space to be human on some level.
I've only just started to do that this year, so I'm hoping I'm going to become a human at some point, a better one.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can. I mean, we're joking, but it's like
sucked into the vortex.
Yeah, people become like part of the Matrix, and it's a lot less fun than in the movie.
I think so too.
So we are here to talk about something very serious. So you started this company. How many employees do you have and that kind of thing?
Well, a bit of context, I guess, first. I don't know if you've picked up from my strong Rocky Mountain accent.
Right.
I wasn't actually born and raised
You're
here.
from the Tasmanian tribe in the Rockies.
Correct, sir.
Yeah.
No, but the company founder and my business partner, John, he is a Colorado native, so he actually grew up in Ward and managed to escape Ward.
Wow. Ward is like the land of like pickup trucks.
And Ward is a very interesting town.
It's got other stuff we won't mention.
It's a curious place, Ward. Right. But John's a Colorado native and basically got a scholarship to go to university. He was in the first CU film school year, so he was the first graduate out of that unit.
Wow.
Went off and created a career for himself as a cinematographer. And then sort of about 10 or 15 years ago decided that outdoor and adventure stuff was what he wanted to do. So basically moved into that field. Around about the same time, he invented the first products that he was using himself in the field. So it was that classic perfect storm of someone who's operating in a particular industry, seeing a need, and making something to fill that need.
So what did his first Dinkum look like?
The first Dinkum products were actually a series of lens shades. So it was like to stop glare from hitting the front of a lens, basically.
From snow and stuff like that?
Yeah, from light. So when you see that sort of halation where it comes down, it's like those sunspots across the image.
Right.
So he invented shades, and then he invented microphone mounts, and it just kind of went on and on. And through the process of him working, he started refining the technology, working out the kinks, working out the imperfections, and eventually when I started
Speaking
working...
of kinks, we were having thoughts about what the TSA says about this.
The TSA love me. The TSA love me very much.
Right.
We're good mates.
Yeah, so now it's become a successful company. Yeah.
So basically, John was working as a cinematographer. You know, he's been nominated for and he's won Emmys. He works for National Geographic. You know, he's a BFD.
Oh yeah.
You know, and so he was running it as a side business. So I started working with him in 2009 in Tasmania. Hobart, Tasmania.
Right.
Because Animal Planet were doing a series called Whale Wars down there about the sea shepherd.
Yep.
The whaling. So I worked on that show as a fixer. John and I met and we started working together from there. So I saw an opportunity because I think that when you invent something great, you shouldn't just sell it just to your friends. Mm-hmm. There's this whole capitalism thing. Have you heard about it?
Yeah, I mean, America, we're pretty into it.
Do you like it?
Yeah. If we can make money off of it, doesn't matter if it's good or bad for people. It's all about the money.
Well, I don't know. I probably describe myself as a reluctant capitalist.
Right,
as a bit of a lefty, bit of an ex-trade union girl, bit of a chain myself to heavy machinery in the teens kind of environmentalist background.
Love it.
So it is a little bit unique for me. I didn't see myself being a co-owner of a manufacturing company, but that's where I am 5 years later, and I actually really love it. It's been really exciting coming in and joining with John, who's a very creative, you know, the classic genius sort of founder of a business, and me bringing that operational, logistical side of things, and the two of us really bringing the company forward. So in 2009, we were selling through 5 outlets, and we currently are selling through...
5 outlets, like 5 individual stores?
5 individual stores.
Wow.
Yeah. 3 in Los Angeles and 2 in New York.
Wow.
And then now, 5 years later, we're selling in over 500 domestically, and we're selling in 4 countries.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. I also am possibly going there to have to lie down in a dark room and just rock back and forth at some point because I'm working my arse off.
Right.
But it's been a really exciting couple of years. So we're really feeling like we're at a point with our business where we're just poised to go really big. We've done the hard yards and ironed out all the kinks and got our engineering and tooling right, and we're ready to scale up. And
that's what I mean by the like Republican thing, like the entrepreneurial story. It's so great.
It's the classic story. I mean, you know, we are bootstrapped. You know, up the wazoo.
And so naturally you connected with GoPro because these can work with and serve GoPros.
These work brilliantly. I mean, when GoPro, we first met staff from GoPro at a film festival actually up at Jackson Hole Wildlife Film Festival, which is one of my favourites. Love it up there. Cool. In 2011. So it was literally, this is going to shock you, Waylon, from an Australian perspective, but I was on a bus and I had cans of beer in my pocket. It was really weird. It was this one time.
Okay.
And I saw this fella sitting at the back of the bus looking a bit bored, so I bought him a can of beer and we started having a chat. And it turns out he was a senior software engineer at GoPro. So we just became mates through that festival. Really lovely guy. We remain friends.
I thought the story
still.
was going to go somewhere else, but okay. So you started doing some.
That comes later.
Yeah. It's business time. Okay, so you connected.
No, this is a genuine mateship with an older guy, lovely fella.
Well,
he married and whatever. It was
Jesus.
all it was filthy. It was terrible. No, it was fine.
But you had the cameras and you take them to.
And this fellow really liked the product because it obviously makes sense for anyone who knows about how GoPros are used.
Sure.
So within a couple of months, we started getting calls from GoPros.
It didn't fit GoPro yet at that time?
No, it totally does. So basically, what we've got here, it's effectively just the same thread as a tripod.
I see.
So it works with every single camera.
Right.
So GoPro have got the same tripod mount that every other camera on the market does. So it works in the sense, but it was more that relationship between a small action camera and they are action cameras.
Yeah.
GoPro are the only players really on the market, other than Sony sort of coming through now.
Right.
But in a nutshell, we just started getting orders from the GoPro crew. They really liked the product. They were ordering 10, 20, 30 units.
The irony is the two companies have been very friendly.
Oh my God, I've got close personal friendships with many, many people from GoPro.
And you would give them like 60% off discounts.
Yeah, significant discounts. Yeah. We were really excited about the fact that a big company like that is even interested.
Yeah.
And then in 2012, they invited us to attend a couple of trade shows as their guests, which for us was probably the biggest thing that had happened to us at that stage in our company's sort of history. So that was really exciting.
What were those trade shows?
One was in Paramount Studios. So that was actually the first trade show that I ever attended in the industry that I work in now. It was in the $500,000 GoPro booth on the lot at Paramount Studios as a guest of GoPro. It was pretty exciting. So great team. Really fantastic crew. I had an absolute blast. It was just an amazing opportunity for a small company.
And did you ever feel concerned about?
Look, I didn't at that stage. Yeah. I think because they're a company that's also grown from, a small crew of 2 or 3 people working really hard, self-funding, pushing and...
Right, they're not Sony.
Yeah, they're not a huge corporation. I was very much there meeting people who'd been there since the beginning. The people that work at GoPro talk about it as a family. There's very much that feeling. The fact that they had our company and another company because they loved our product, it felt very sort of collaborative.
So the normal thing...
It didn't feel predatory.
Right.
So...
Yeah, and the normal thing that happens in the business world when there are natural fits like this is often the larger, or far larger in this case, company will try and buy. I mean, did you feel like they were interested? Or?
Oh, I mean, look, from my perspective, I'm not so disingenuous as to pretend that when you've got a large company who are interested in your product, their specialty is their core product is the camera, but they obviously make accessories. They didn't have anything like this, and they were being very, very obvious in the fact that they thought it was great.
Right.
So the door has always been wide open. There's no big company that would think a small business like ours wouldn't be open to a licensing deal or a purchase. That's why companies like ours exist.
So that's a key point. They didn't have anything like it. That's in fact why they were inviting you to the trade shows, because it was complimentary.
Correct.
And then, so what
well, then we had another show through that sort of all through 2012 and early 2013. It was just fantastic. Senior executives of theirs and sort of their famous athlete ambassadors and people were really interested. They were ordering more product. They were sending us images of them using the product.
Like who are some of these athletes?
Well, Lonnie Paxton, he used to play for the Patriots.
Yeah.
This is actually hilarious because when Lonnie rang me and said he was an NFL player and I gave him shit about the fact that that's not actually real sport. Right. So I think we got off at a really good,
you have
really
a different kind of football. I've heard of it.
I was like, I think I've heard of that. Is that one where you guys wear like the helmet and the padding things? Yeah, it was one of those ones. No, but he's a fantastic guy, really lovely guy. He was living in Denver at that stage, I think, wrapping up a season with the Broncos. A great supporter of ours, and loved our product. Introduced me to the media manager from the Broncos, talking about how great our product was. It was this really fantastic feeling to be supported like that.
Yeah.
The head of their music department ordered a bunch of mounts for the Rolling Stones concert. That's obviously, pretty bloody exciting too.
So, and you got to go, and you and Becky became good friends.
Unbelievable. I mean, Keith and I have known each other for years. But,
obviously, yeah. I can tell you party.
Yeah.
Cool.
Should we go back to meditating?
No, that was great.
So, I mean, obviously from our perspective, all the while, I'm a pragmatic business person. So I started the sort of dialogue of letting them know that we're definitely open to opportunities with licensing, and had conversations with them about that in April of 2013.
Is licensing the same as selling, or what does that mean?
Look, there's a variety of different ways these kinds of things
You were just
could
open,
go. As in, there are business solutions to a big company wanting something that a little company has the IP for.
Right.
Yeah. There's
being
intellectual property.
right.
Yeah.
So you had all this patented, or
yeah, John was successful in achieving a patent on this, and he got a patent on another one of his original inventions as well, which is pretty bloody amazing. I mean, that's not something everyone can say they've done in their life, and he's got two.
Right.
So we've definitely.
I can say it.
Can you?
I'd be lying, but
I'd be lying too. I could say it as well.
Yeah.
How's your patent working out for you?
I can say it's doing very well.
I can say mine's also good.
Yes.
It's going really well.
Awesome.
That's great. So anyway,
Yeah.
nice. I mean, obviously, I'm really proud of what John's done.
Yeah.
I don't think it's not a common thing for people to just conceptualise an idea, be brave enough to put your own life savings into backing something, be crazy enough to hire a Tasmanian woman to run the business for you. I mean,
most people can't say that.
Just saying. Who would say that?
Not me.
No one would want to say that.
Yeah. Although you'd be a great co-host, you know.
Really?
Female, great accent, good sense of humor.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, good eye contact.
Alcoholic.
Alcoholic. All qualities I don't share, except for
Okay.
the alcohol.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Or in the morning kind of guy.
Oh, that's nice.
Right.
So anyway, in a nutshell, I mean, after the April show, radio silence kind of started occurring, which
that
is
was for the first time, right?
It was very much so.
Yeah.
So we had
enough that it weirded you out.
Very much so.
Huh.
And I did have
because up to then it was like.
I mean, I'm talking about I stay at these people's houses.
Right.
I've had dinner with them on multiple occasions. I mean, the show at the NAB, they were so fantastically welcoming to us. That's why this is such an unpleasant situation. I mean, we had a trade show where I'd be in Las Vegas staying in fantastic accommodations like Circus, and the team from GoPro would invite me to dinners and take care of me and look after me. I was very much made to feel like I was part of that dynamic and that family, and they're a fantastic group of people.
It was almost like they rolled this huge horse into your living room.
And
then you went to bed at night.
Yeah, I went to bed.
And then they came out.
It's really weird.
And what did they do?
What a great story. I should write that down.
Yeah. All right.
So basically, life kind of trotted along through last year. Last year was a good year for me. My house burnt down in a wildfire in January. That was good.
Right.
And then I lost my place in the Goliath floods. So just after that, I went to New York for a work trip that I had.
So things were going along smoothly
at this stage, and I had heaps of time swimmingly.
Yeah.
They were, having a roaring good time.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh God, should we actually start drinking?
I mean, I've been drinking.
Oh, okay,
I was kidding.
No, I've just had tea.
Shit face.
Okay, that's good.
I don't even know who you are.
It's all right.
Pretty attractive.
Oh, thanks, Waylon. That was nice.
Okay.
So anyway, so the point is that there were a few other distracting elements, and also we were.
Speaking of distracting,
I know.
elements, right?
Would you like to move it? Is it making you not?
No, the angle's good. I think.
Okay. So, I mean, the other thing to remember about this is that John and I know, it's okay. It's okay. You've got to be really secure in yourself to be able to. We'll talk about that.
Oh, I can hold it.
Okay. All right.
Come on.
So, the point is that John and I are running a business. We're running a classic startup. He has a very busy career as a DP, and I'm, sort of operating the company, and we're working really hard. So you don't have a ton of time to kind of look up at the bigger stuff that's going on. So I think when I look back and you sort of see the patterns, it's more apparent now.
Yeah, but you also just didn't imagine it.
You're just busy. You're just really busy.
You also just, given your close relationship and being like a family.
Highly unlikely.
Yeah.
So it was, I think, the first couple of days of October, I was in Newark. The Newark airport, about to get on the flight back to Denver. I know. That's when I started drinking.
Right.
And suddenly my phone just blew up. It was like I had about 40 text messages and could hear all my emails going. So I assumed that something else had happened, like a meteor or something, because I was waiting for the third, thinking what was going to happen that year.
Right.
Well, it turns out it was just this. So that's all right.
So what was this?
This was this.
Right.
So basically we got, firstly, about half of the people that contacted us were like, congratulations, guys. We are so psyched for you. All your hard work's paid off, and you've got a licensing deal with GoPro.
Because they saw something that looked
GoPro
like
had just
Dinkum.
released theirs.
But it wasn't Dinkum.
No, it was not.
So they just said, so they obviously made the decision. They said we could try and buy or license Dinkum, or we could just do it ourselves.
For whatever reason, companies make decisions like that. You know, there's obviously a group of people in a room, and people run through the pros and cons of, you know, what sort of ethical position or legal position you're going to take. And in our view, definitely the ethical position is wrong. But we also believe that they've broken, you know, laws, which is why we're now pursuing it.
So they made something like this that has the same functionality.
When you say like this, it's that.
Just pink.
It's exactly that. It's not even pink.
Oh, really?
No,
same color.
Same color.
Wow.
Same number of links in the arm. Same clamp.
Same number of links.
Yeah. The same.
Wow. It's almost as if they figured, since they're a huge company with unlimited money to spend on legal situations, that they were safe and they could just rip you off.
Maybe.
Yeah. So what was your reaction?
Well,
were you crying in the Newark airport?
I did actually. I hate to admit it because these things happen rarely, but I did have a little bit of liquid come out of one of my eyes. I did. Yeah. I was actually it was pretty punch in the guts kind of scenario at that stage. So that's when I went to the bar and I ordered a couple of Bloody Marys and a dozen natural oysters, and then I felt a little bit better.
Right, all right. Yeah, because you have like years of investment of time and money.
I mean, this is our top seller. There's a reason GoPro liked it as much as they did. It's a really great product. It works. You know, it's been refined and tested by someone who uses it in the field for over a decade. You know, it's got that field testing behind it. It's got that weight of knowledge and years of experience of John refining the design, getting it right, refining it, patenting it, getting the patent.
So then did you call or email them up?
Well, I got quite a few phone calls, a few texts and emails from friends saying that, you know, they had no idea and they felt pretty terrible.
From friends at GoPro.
So that's obviously awkward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what?
And then we took a bit of a break. I had another drink. I got onto a plane.
Okay. Cool.
I came back home. John, I think, might have been in Mozambique, I think, on a shoot. He was somewhere, he was up and away, so it was a bit sort of disjointed.
He didn't know for a while.
So yeah, it took a little bit of a lag, and then he and I would have probably met the following week, and we talked about what we wanted to do, and reached the decision that as a small business, if we don't defend ourselves, then we can't stay in business. Yeah. You have to defend your IP.
Right, because they're in every single outlet already.
Yeah. That's right. I mean, the distribution, you know, we could be quadrupling our sales every quarter, which we are, by the way, because we're killing it right now.
You're still doing it?
We are.
Oh, congrats.
We're growing our company really strongly, and it's awesome. But the fact of the matter is, I've got one employee on the road, 2 casual staff members that work for me in Boulder, a founder who works full-time, often overseas, and myself. We just don't have the weight of numbers. They're an 800-person, $3.5 billion business who are 4 years ahead in their development. They're about an 8-year-old company. We're about 4. So they're twice as old as us and about 3 billion times bigger. Right.
So, and how long have they now been in production with this?
This came out. Their version came out in early October.
And you're still doing well.
We are. We are. I mean, through the stores that we're in. You know, through the stores that are side by side.
Are they already outselling you, do you think, with theirs?
Oh, just it's the number of venues that they're sold through. It's just exponentially beyond anything. I mean, I think they'd be sold in hundreds of thousands of outlets internationally.
Right. Whereas you're in 500 or something. So what's been the communication between you and GoPro since?
Well, unfortunately, just basically through the lawyers. That's, you know, and you're talking about...
so no one at GoPro ever reached out and said, we made a decision to do this?
No, no one formally, not from a senior executive level. No.
Really? Not even off record or anything?
Well, if it's off the record, Waylon, then
no,
it's off
not
the record.
Off record. Here, we're on the record. But they didn't say so. Right, good point.
Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still a good question. I asked it so casually. You're fast.
There's nothing formal that's been said, but that's also because we, I think it was probably within a couple of weeks of them releasing it, we sent them a cease and desist. I mean, we very much have asserted our legal rights since day one. Yeah. We're not, you know, we're not doing anything other than defending ourselves. You know, this is not an ethical crusade or us not wanting to compete in a marketplace. It's not that.
So where's the whole legal thing at now?
We're basically, we officially filed in, you know, we were trying to give everyone time to do the right thing. That's kind of, you know, the hope that you have when you're starting these processes.
That they'll settle or something?
That there'll be a business resolution, I think's the terminology that they say. But yeah, and that wasn't forthcoming for whatever reason. So we're now in a position that we're pursuing the case.
Wow. And are you able to, I mean, is that a drain on your financial resources?
Oh, Waylon.
It was sort of a softball question, but you can look at me like it was a stupid question if you like. No, but I think it's an interesting thing. Like when they make that decision, or a big company makes that decision, they say, we can handle a protracted legal...
They could stick it right to the end and probably wouldn't even make them miss a lunch bill. But for a small business like ours, it's a massive,
breakfast, lunch, dinner, and
financial burden.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a self-funded company, so we are, you know, we've literally just brought in our very first investor about a month and a half ago, a friend of ours who wanted to put some money in.
Well, I was happy. I was inspired by it. I have a lot of money.
Thanks, Waylon, and we'd like to really say thank you so much for the contribution. It's been amazing.
No problem, particularly since I didn't do it.
No, I know. It's like your patent.
Yeah.
It's exactly like your patent. You've invested in our business.
Yes.
That's good, but we don't want to cloud the issue.
I've done a lot of things.
But I think when you know, GoPro, I think sold 8% of their company for $125 million not that long ago. We didn't quite manage that same.
So you're a multi-millionaire now.
Oh, loaded, absolutely loaded.
Awesome.
Thanks so much.
Cool.
I think definitely the monetary thing, we could, you know, be flippant about it, but it's a huge commitment. It's an operational diversion of money that we could be using to grow
and
our
energy, emotional and time.
We could hire another staff member for what we're paying right now. You know, legal costs. I think the fact that it is as painful as it is gives an indication of how seriously we're taking it. Like we're not mucking around. We don't think we're wrong. We want to defend ourselves. We think that there's been a breach of the law here. In fact, we think there's been a breach of 4. So that's why there's 4 claims.
And ethics. I mean, you know, technically, legally, there's been a breach.
We certainly believe so. Our lawyers believe so.
But ethically, you know, is it a breach? So and then I guess sort of the final question, maybe a main question, which is partly why we're doing this video.
We're going to meditate again.
Yeah, we're going to meditate for a couple hours. Please stay tuned. It's riveting.
It's actually probably going to be really good for me.
Yeah, no, it is a good thing with stress, for sure. And it also keeps you incredibly not distracted by the kind of extra stuff, you know, the emotional stuff that isn't always helpful.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm being a bit flippant. And I think in my life, I don't know, this is like, it's not life or death. You know, you've got to have a bit of context. But it is stressful. It's
pretty big.
For sure. It's
big.
One of the bigger things that I've done.
Yeah, I mean, elephant's been ripped off many times in small ways, and there's always that moment where you're like, do we fight this? And almost always, because it's not a big way like this, where there's some bigger thing taking everything and doing it, I say it's not worth it. I can't afford to fight.
And that's exactly what John and I have been like every time. We've had other smaller, exactly that. We've had other people who have seen previous things that he's done and they've made their own versions, and we know that our product is great. We know that we'll outsell them. We really have just let market forces basically take care of those situations before.
And also quality. I mean, you have a head start.
You know, we're not litigious. It's actually, I mean, it's hideous. It's a hideous process. But
so that final question, the sort of core one, is how can anyone who's inspired, who's watching this, how can they help?
Oh, God. Send me money to no.
But I think raising awareness, right? I mean,
look, I think the thing for us is that I really, whether this is naive or not, I have faith that the team at GoPro will do the right thing. I really do.
Because they're good people. You got to know them. They're like a family. You
know, the people that I met, and I really have met nearly everyone except for the owner and a couple of the other senior sort of people at the head of the organisation.
Right.
Everyone I've met, you know, they're fiercely loyal to that business. They love their product. You know, they've done an incredible job. They're a role model for any small business out there. What they've done in the last 8 years, they're incredible. And I guess the tiny little nugget of me that's not the cynic just thinks that they're going to do the right thing.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of room for that. I mean, I think that's why we wanted to have a respectful discussion about this that was fact-based. And I think, you know, to answer my own question, I think people who watch this, if you feel inspired to support a young business, you can obviously share the video or, you know, post anything about Dinkum. Just raise the awareness. There's no business on earth, particularly one in the public eye, like GoPro, that wants a lot of negative, you know, public pressure.
Yeah, I think
they've actually.
The one negative comment that I read, there was an article in the Denver Post, and I really am trying not to go there ever, reading comments, because, you know, the old world of the interwebs, how lovely everyone is out there. And one person had, you know, written something quite unkind, and it was just basically like, I've never even heard of this small company, but I've heard of GoPro, and I thought that's actually so telling, because that's actually the answer. Because they haven't heard of us because we haven't been given an opportunity.
That's why it's actually a threat,
to compete fairly.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I know it's a difficult subject, but you approach it with a great deal of integrity and humor, which is a delight.
Thank you, Waylon.
Yeah, so Andi, thank you so much.
Lovely to chat to you, mate.
With Dinkum Systems. Check them out. And you can find us on SoundCloud, as always, and youtube.com/Waylon H. Lewis. Thank you so much.